Welcome to another tutorial from Group B, IT 170 Emerging Technology students. Now this tutorial is on how to display data from a database using the Spring and the Hibernate. We don't want to make our life difficult, and this tutorial will make your life easy on how to deal with Spring and Hibernate. So let's start. So first and foremost, of course, you need to have your NetBeans. NetBeans is very essential to have the Spring and the Hibernate. So first is we need to make a new project. And our project this time is not a Java project, but is a Java web project. So we need to select the web application over there, and then we click on next. After clicking next, we need to have a very cool project name. So that we have the motivation to really make our project very nice and very cool. So we must have a cool project. And for us, we named that Group 2. It may not sound cool to you, but for us, that's very, very cool. So, and then afterwards, you click next, and then your server and settings. In our server, we decided to use the Glassfish server 3.1. And if you have another server like the Apache Tomcat, which is also a very cool server by its name, so you can use that one. But for us, we're only using that Glassfish because it's cooler. And afterwards, we need to establish our frameworks. Now, when establishing our frameworks, we have here the 4 choices over there. So we have here the Spring Web, the Java Server Faces, the Struts, I don't know what the Struts is, and the Hibernate. And since lately, I was telling you that we will be using the Spring and the Hibernate. So, but first and foremost, you need to select Hibernate. It is very essential so that you can configure your database connection, that one. So, over there, when I click that one, I have a new database connection here, and when I click that one over there, yeah. And then my driver, of course, I am not using this Java DB driver, so I need to change that one into the MySQL. By the way, I am using a MySQL workbench. That's also a very cool workbench, a very nice name, of course. So I am using the MySQL connector Jade driver, and then when I click that one, the driver file over there, it was changed, right? And then I will click next over there. So first is the database or the name of the schema. For me, I have named my schema coordinates because it's a very nice word and it's very long, coordinates. And then I need also to jot in here the password. Of course, I alone know my password, so I'm not telling you my password. And when I click the test connection, that button, the test connection, when I click that one, it will say that my connection succeeded. Therefore, my connection is set, and I will be clicking finish. When I click finish, it will go back there, and I will be clicking the Spring Web MVC. Since I am using the Spring and the Hibernate, when I click that one, you notice that the Spring Web MVC configuration, the fields over here in the bottom changed. And then I click finished. And then afterwards, that was also Hibernate configuration. So with regards to Hibernate, after the configuration, I need to reverse engineer. So we have to click here the source package new, and then Hibernate reverse engineering. When I click that one over there, and then I will click next. And when clicking next, automatically, it will just, the available tables from my connection or my database will be pasted here. And then I will click the add all. And as you can see in the selected table here, the name of my table is transferred. And I will click finish there. And afterwards, I need to make my POHO. So clicking that one, I need to name my entity or my package. So I name that one entity because you can also name your package any name you want, as long as this is a very nice name. And then when I click finish, there. And then now, as you can see here over there, it's entity, the package is entity. And now the last step in Hibernate is in making your util. So again, you click next in the Hibernate util over there. And then you need also to save it into another package. So I just named the package util because it's shorter. Click finish. There. So as you can see here in the left part, I have here the entity. Entity, we have here the map coord. Map coord is my table. And of course, the util. Now, we need to click here the Hibernate configuration.xml or the file. And we need to proceed to the XML. And the XML here, we need to add something over here. So we need to add a property name. We have here the Hibernate current section context class is a thread. We need to add that one because it's very essential in our project. Because I have also experimented with other project, and without this Hibernate current session context class, your project will have an error. Okay, so in the JSP folder here over there in the top, we need to add another JSP wherein we are going to display what is in our Hibernate or in our database. So like that, we need to add new, and we need also to add a file name. In my file name here, I just named it display coordinates, as it is. is the name implies what is the function of the file. So display coordinates and click finish. Brother, finish. After clicking finish, over here I am making a Java class. What will I do with the Java class? Later you will know what this Java class is for. So here I name here class name map coord controller. So from the name itself, controller, it will control. So what will it control? So that's a very interesting question. And now here the package, the name of my package is the controller. Next, over there is it's a class. And then I need to here to jot in some codes. So since it is the controller, I added here extends abstract controller. And then I just click on clicking the Control-Shift-I, so that I need to fix the imports. And I have here the servlet. I am using the servlet because I am on a Spring. So it's the servlet, and click OK. So OK. And then clicking here on the side, because the map coord controller, it has an error, and we need to implement all abstract method. And by clicking that one here over here, this segment of the code will be shown. So what I did here is I just copy pasted my code. So what is this code for? So first is the model and view mv equals new model and view display coordinates. So what is this for? What's the meaning of this? So this is display coordinates is, because you can see here, it is the same name with the JSP I had just made. It is so that, shall we say in the common term, it establishes the connection between my JSP and my controller. So in the controller, it is here that I am connecting my Spring and my Hibernate. Get that? So here, I am accessing my JSP, or the display coordinates, using this model and view. Next, over here, session. So in the segment try catch, this session is more on the concern of the Hibernate field. So as you can see here, I am using the new Hibernate util. So that file there is the name of your util, and then the map, the list I need to get, because it is in the entity that the fields of my database is stored, the fields only. So I am accessing here using the list map coord. So that's it. So from the query, so it's also so that query that establishes the connection between into my database already. So I am getting that map coord list, that variable map coord list. It is where I will be storing whatever values my database have. So see that? And then this mv that add object, these map coords, later you will know what will be that for. But this map coords here with all small letters, this is really very essential. And as you can see here, the objects in map coord list, the object in my list, I am adding these objects in the map coords. See that? Okay, now let's proceed. So we need to fix again our imports, because as you can see, there are so many red lines over there. So it's all in the imports. So in the import in our Hibernate util, we need we need to use this org.hibernate.session. Okay, see that? And then for our Hibernate util, like that. And of course for our list, the imports for our list. So list, and everything is set. No more red lines. So that's very cool. And now we go to our dispatcher. So what is this dispatcher-servlet.xml for? So we are very familiar with the word dispatcher. Here in the Philippines, the dispatcher, for example, the dispatcher in a jeepney, it calls those who want to ride the jeepney, it calls that one, everything. Now here, since this dispatcher servlet is in the web pages, you can see it's in the web pages. Now its task is now to call the Hibernate via the controller. A moment of silence, because we really need to digest that one. So as you can see here, the dispatcher in the Java has the same function with the dispatcher as in with a dispatcher who is a person. So he is calling. So here we need to add here. We add a bean. We add an ID. So you can name that ID anything you want. And for our class, as you can see here, our class is controller.map coord controller. Sounds familiar? Yes, that's very familiar, because that controller is the name of our package. See that? The name of our package, and that map controller is the name of our Java class. Now, our dispatcher is calling our controller. That's very cool. And here, the prop key, so we also need to add a key, because as you can see, the prop key in the upper corner is for the index.htm. Now, since the name of our page is display coordinates, so we are calling also that one. See that? So you should know how to spell. They should be correct spelling. They should be the same. And the controller ID, that's right. The controller ID here is the controller ID we need to jot in down there. So in now we go to our redirect. What is this redirect for? So as you can see here, the redirect is the index.htm. This means to say that when we run the program, we are accessing first the page named index.htm. But of course, we are not. I decided that, well, I am not using my index.htm. That's why I'm changing that one to display coordinates.htm, because when I run my program, I want that page to load. Okay, but it's up to you. If you want an anchor tag with an href and everything, or XML, you can also do that. But for me, I want to be very cool. So that's how to do it. That's how you make things to be cool. Okay, and now we go to the display coordinates. This display coordinates is very essential because it is where we can see if we succeeded. It is where we call the fields in our database. I mean, it is where we display, not call, but we are going to display the content of our tables in our database. So see that. So it's just the title. So you need also to have a little knowledge on HTML or XML so that you will have a very cool display. So I have here, my title is my coordinates, and I just made it the center and the H1. So of course, no need to discuss further in that. So let's run first the program and see what happens. So over there. So my title is, oh, this one, yes, it's right. So my title is the map coordinates, that one, the title of my page, and of course my header, that one. Okay, we proceed. So I created a table so that my fields will also be tabular, and it looks very cool, very neat, very organized. My fields will be very organized. So I created a table. So in the table, remember, you need to have that border is equals 1 so that your borders will be very visible. And then I have here the PH because that is this area block, etc. They are all headers. So when we run our program, when we deploy that one, it is built successfully. And when we reload the page, so we just need to reload the page. We need to run it again. So we just need to reload it over there. That's the header. As you can see, it is in a tabular form. So that's very nice and that's very neat. So we proceed now. Here, what is this code all about? Oh my god, it really makes my head aches. But this code, it looks very nice. So I really need to discuss it now. So here, remember the object that I told you that the map coord list. I am transferring the object to the map coord with all the small letters. So I am using it now. So that for each, the items is the items which this list of the map coord is accessing or is having. So see that? So they should be the same. And then my coord is just a variable. You can add there any variable you want. And as I have made that one, see that coord, that area, coord, that block, coord, that lot. So these are the fields of my database here. And I want to get only this one. So I am using that one. But this coord is not really necessary to be that coord. It's a variable, again, it's a variable. And so we deploy it again and we reload our page. If fields appear in this area, it means that our connection is successful. There. You can see that series of numbers. So we have here the area, the block, the lot, and these are all the coordinates. So first, it may seem, what the hell? So what are these coordinates? So in our last tutorial, we have there the map, and these are rather the coordinates of that map. So if you're curious what these numbers are all, so you better refer to our last tutorial. And by the way, that last tutorial, it is cooler. I mean, that was also cool, but this tutorial is cooler. And so there, it was already successful that we have established, or we have gained these data through the Spring and our database. And it was successful. And this tutorial, it may seem to be a very long one, but it's not really that very confusing. I mean, if you're going just to absorb all what I've told you, I mean, you are going to gain knowledge, which is really very fast and very cool. So you know what? In everything you do, you must be very cool, because it's all that matters. Okay, that one. So that's all for this session. I hope you learned something about the Spring and the Hibernate. So don't make your life too difficult in dealing with Spring and dealing with Hibernate. Just watch the tutorial and you're good to go. Bye bye.